Hello, friends, and welcome to this new year, 2025. So today I'm going to talk about something so many of us deal with. Maybe you're struggling with weight loss, feeling low on energy, and getting stuck in unhealthy habits. If you've ever found yourself reaching for those sweets when you're feeling stressed or feeling like you're not in control of what you eat, you're not alone. But here's the good news. You guys can be in control of your health. You can lose weight in a sustainable way, and you can build healthy habits that actually stick. So in this episode today, I'm going to be sharing 5 weight loss mistakes that I see women over 40 making and how you can avoid them and finally start to feel good in your body and your life. And maybe as the new year is starting, you want to take control of your health. Finally lose weight and start building habits that actually stick. So imagine having a personal trainer right in your pocket, someone to guide you every step of the way, keep you accountable, and create a plan that works just for you. Because most of us don't do well with cookie cutter plans, we need something that is individualized. So from now until January 19th, I have this incredible deal for new clients. So you can use the code NEWYEAR25 at the checkout, and you're going to get 25% off your first 3 months of personal training right inside my personal training app. So not just 1 month, 3 months. You're going to get customized workouts set out for you daily and weekly. So whether that's 10-minute workouts you want to do or 30-minute workouts, we're going to make sure it fits you. You're going to have unlimited messaging with me for that support and accountability. We can even do voice messaging inside the app. So if you ask me a question that's more than me typing a sentence, I'm going to send you a voice message and you're going to get that coaching right at your fingertips. We're also going to design custom habits for you because it's not just about exercise. It's about our whole health and really creating healthy habits. You're also going to get weekly group coaching videos right inside the app with practical tips to keep you motivated each week. And there's also optional 2-minute meditations that I can add. So those are great for a quick way to de-stress and focus your mind each day. Once you guys sign up, you're going to receive an email from me with a quick Google form to get everything set up inside of the app. And as a special bonus, during the last week of January, I'm going to send you a message where you can schedule a free health coaching call with me so we can sort of fine-tune your program and also go over anything else that you are struggling with. So if you've been struggling with stress eating, low energy, feeling stuck, wanting to work out, this is your chance for a change. So use that code NEWYEAR25 when you check out for my personal training app by July 19th. And let's make this the year that you get strong, that you're confident and in control of your health. Make sure you guys check the description of this podcast for that link to get started. And if you guys have any questions, just reach out to me by email or social media. Hi friends, and welcome to the Healthy Beyond 40 show. I'm Michele, mama 4 and military wife, and I'm passionate about helping women get healthy from the inside out so they can feel better and live their best life. Do you feel like you're struggling to lose weight and get in shape? If you're ready to develop healthier habits, exercise consistently, and lose weight sustainably, then you're in the right place. I combine my expertise from my doctorate in physical therapy to my experience as a health coach, personal trainer, and yoga teacher to bring you actionable steps for a healthy lifestyle. No magic pill here, so lace up those shoes and get moving. So as we're starting a new year and most people are hyped about losing weight or getting in shape, I want you guys to think about these 5 mistakes that I am going to go through so that when you start something, you really want to set yourself up for success. So what happens when we are not setting ourselves up for success is we try something, it doesn't work, and then we feel like a failure and it demotivates us. And especially when the cycle has been repeated and repeated, we feel that we just can't lose weight or that it's just too hard. But we've never started in a way where we've set ourselves up for success. So if you're thinking of making any changes this new year, I want to make sure that you're thinking about these mistakes, that you're not doing them, and you're really setting yourself up for success. And so with each mistake I'm going to talk about, I'm also going to talk about a solution or something very practical for you to think about if you tend to lean towards any of these mistakes. All right, so the first one is focusing on extreme diets or something unsustainable. So when we focus on something extreme or something that's unsustainable, we're really looking for those short-term results. That's what we all want. We want that quick fix. But really what happens when we do that and we can't sustain it is it leads to long-term frustration. We just get frustrated. We think we can't do this. We think something is wrong with us. But it all is in the way that we started. So maybe you're someone who likes to do a more restrictive diet like keto or a juice cleanse or something like that. And you might lose weight fast, but you can't sustain keto or you can't sustain that juice cleanse. And then you gain that weight back and sometimes even faster. And also the problem when we lose weight fast is that we're typically losing muscle mass with that. And we do not want to do that. We want to maintain our muscle mass. So when we're losing weight, we need to do it in a controlled way where we're not losing weight fastly because we don't want to lose our muscle. We only want to lose that extra fat that we have. But a lot of times when we're doing these short-term restrictive diets and losing weight fast is along with that fat loss, we're having muscle loss too. So then when the diet's over, we have less muscle mass, which means our body is less metabolically active. So our body's burning less calories doing nothing than before. So then we put weight back on even faster. So when we can start to shift to focusing on making sure that we're just having healthier meals, that we're really narrowing in on our portion control, our hunger cues, and we start by making small changes. We're not trying to do everything at once. Maybe first we're going to focus on getting more protein or getting more non-starchy veggies. So those are the different options. So we have this, I'm going to follow this structured extreme diet. I'm going to lose weight fast versus I'm going to focus more on just eating healthy, my portion control, noticing when I'm hungry. I'm going to start with one habit change a week, like eating non-starchy vegetables. So very different results. But when we look at those two over the course of a whole year, that second person is going to be way more successful. And so that's what I do with my clients is we focus on the sustainable changes that we can make so that we can start to see results for the long term, not just the short term. All right, mistake number 2 is ignoring emotional eating. And sometimes when I talk to people, some people are aware of their emotional eating, some people are not. So this might be stress eating in your mind. And it's sort of thinking if you are eating anytime you're really not hungry, that your body doesn't need nourishment, then you're probably falling into some type of emotional eating. So for example, with clients, I commonly see boredom eating. So we don't really think of boredom as like some strong emotion, like, oh, I'm sad, I'm bawling my eyes out, so I'm going to eat this whole bag of cookies. But boredom eating is a type of emotional eating too. So I had a client who would eat in the evenings when she was bored. That was the core problem. She didn't need keto to help her lose weight. She needed to work on this emotional eating that she was having that was stemming from boredom. So when we tackled that, we also noticed that there were other emotions going on along with the boredom. And then we were able to put a plan in place for her. And in her brain, she was starting to build new neural pathways. Because when we're bored or when we're sad or when we're feeling anxious and we always go to grab something to eat, that's because we have this really strong neural pathway in our brain to do that. And to do something different is hard because we have to build that new pathway in our brain. And so we were able to talk about different ways to look at the situations. We were able to notice those thoughts. We were able to have some action plans in place for her to do when things came up. And then what happens is this new pathway starts getting stronger and stronger and stronger. And she started feeling more and more confident and wasn't eating in the evenings just because she was bored. So a lot of times with emotional eating, we don't want to face it. We don't want to tackle it. We think like there has to be something else. I can just follow keto. I can just do this other thing. And we're ignoring what that core problem is. So if you're dealing with any type of eating that is outside of hunger, you might have some type of emotional eating. And so the first steps are to recognize what those triggers are and start to figure out what do you actually need instead? What is the truth? How can we replace that emotional eating with something that is actually healthy for us? Maybe that's like a cup of tea. Maybe that's going for a walk or talking with a friend. And how can we do this in a way of self-compassion and self-kindness, where we're acknowledging those feelings that we're having, that it's okay to be sad, it's okay to be anxious, that we can feel those feelings in the moment, and it's going to be okay without judgment, because then we can move past it. So it can take some time to move past emotional eating, to become aware of it. But if that's one of the core problems, then you have to face that head on. And so especially if you need support doing that, health coaching can be so helpful when it comes to emotional eating. So you have someone to talk to and bounce ideas off. And that's what I do with my clients. So sometimes we'll do more coaching. We might do some EFT or some tapping to regulate our emotions. But if that's your core thing, don't try to do all these other things. You have to work on that to change those neural pathways so that it sticks. All right. Mistake number 3 that I see people make commonly is that they're focusing on cardio and burning calories, because we're thinking calories in, calories out. I just have to burn more calories and I just have to eat less. But the problem here is that we need to shift our thinking a little more towards muscle mass. So how can I increase my muscle mass? Because when I do that, I burn more calories doing nothing. We feel stronger. It really helps us with aging to have muscle. So we need to focus on how can I increase my muscle mass? So that would be strength training. And also, instead of just focusing on calorie and cardio burns, the best way to burn calories is just movement in general. So when we do cardio and we're burning a bunch of calories at once, what happens with most people is that after that, they're really hungry because their body just burned a lot of calories, right? As humans, we developed in a world where there wasn't this abundance of food that we have today. So if we burned a lot of calories, we want our body to say, oh, I'm hungry, like, let's eat. But today, when we have an abundance of food and typically more body fat than we need, this can become a problem. But when we do more movement, so this is just taking steps. This isn't where my heart rate's getting up or I'm walking fast. But when I am just moving my body more throughout the day, I'm burning calories, but it's at this lower level. So it doesn't typically trigger that like hunger hormone, give me food now. Like, I just casually walked around the block. It's not going to trigger me to be super hungry to eat more. So it's sort of this low burn. So when we tend to focus more on strength training and doing more movement, then that's going to help us burn calories in a more effective way than just trying to hit the cardio hard. So there's lots of little things that go into that, but hopefully that helps to give you an idea. So a lot of times with clients, I am trying to get them to strength train 3 to 5 days a week. And that might include, usually I like to do like 2 or 3 days of strength training, then 2 or 3 days of yoga for strength training. So the yoga is going to strength train your body in a little bit different way. You're also going to get that flexibility, that balance, that deep breathing, and all that other good stuff that goes with yoga. So that can be a much more balanced way than just trying to like do super fast walking or trying to run or doing really long spin classes. So we can have a little bit of that in there if that's something you enjoy. But I want you to think about how can I increase my muscle mass and have more of this like low calorie burn that goes under the radar of my body. All right, so let's roll into mistake number 4 that I see people making. And this is neglecting sleep and stress management. So our mood and how we feel rules what we're doing. Those actions we take or those actions we don't take. So when we can really get into a good place of regulating our body, regulating our stress, making sure that we're prioritizing sleep, then hormones like cortisol aren't going to be spiked so much, and these other hormones that lead to the weight gains and cravings. So I worked with someone who was constantly exhausted. She was relying on having a lot of caffeine, and she was really struggling to lose weight. and prioritize her sleep. So again, she didn't need to do, I'm just going to use keto again. And I don't think keto is like necessarily bad or anything, but she didn't need to do keto or some extreme structured diet. Her core problem was that she needed to focus on her stress management and sleep. And when we were able to start to do that, she was able to start to go to bed at a better time and sleep better. And she had some tools she could use throughout her day to reduce and handle her stress better, right? Her circumstances of what was stressing her weren't going to change. But if she can look at it different, and if she is more regulated, then she can handle that same thing better. So if you know for you, I'm not sleeping enough, or I'm feeling stressed out by everything, that may be what you need to work on to start to regulate your body, regulate your stress hormones like cortisol, to get your body out of fight and flight so that you can actually hormonally be in a better place, but also you're going to be in a better place where you can take action steps to maybe eat healthier, right? Because when we're stressed, because our day is so stressful and we haven't slept enough, we're going to naturally grab for the sugar and for the carbs. But when we can be more regulated and have better thoughts going through our mind, truer thoughts, then we're able to choose healthier things. Our body's more regulated. We feel like we have a little bit more of that willpower to do what we know we should do. So if this is you having a bedtime and a strong bedtime routine, making that sort of non-negotiable, we always find so many excuses to stay up later. Making sure that you're having stress reducing habits like working on your thoughts with my clients. I like to do some different exercises that really help them to become aware of their thoughts and their feelings and how that creates their actions. And then shifting to an intentional model of, if I think this, I'm going to feel this. And then I'm going to be doing this. So I like to work with those thoughts. We have to work with our emotions instead of just trying to hide our emotions or stuff them down or push them off. Just being able to deal with those, and people are then able to move through them a lot quicker. And also helping people create boundaries. So many times we don't realize that we're upset basically because we didn't set a boundary. Because that boundary is getting pushed and we're not doing anything about it because we actually don't have a boundary. So when we can start to work on our stress and our sleep, we're in a much better place to take care of our health and to lose weight. All right. And mistake number 5 is really having a lack of accountability. And this is what I see when most people come to me is they haven't had an accountability and they've just gotten stuck in a cycle of trying something, failing, repeat. And a lot of times what's missing is just that extra accountability piece of having a coach, having a trainer. And also I'm going to mention some other ways without having a coach or a trainer to get more accountability too. But it's real easy to get stuck and not realize what's going on with you if you don't have someone pointing that out. So even through my personal training app, I'm checking in on my clients weekly, or they're just messaging me, because when something's going off and we just keep coasting, it's going to keep being off. But when we have someone there to talk through when things are going off, then we can start to do something different. Just like I said earlier, we have these neural pathways built of what we're used to doing, and it's really hard to change and do something different. So that's where having that person there for you can help you to build that new neural pathway in your brain if you are ready. So for my clients, especially having regular check-ins, talking to me if they're doing health coaching or just checking in through my personal training app, it really helps to provide that accountability to get them to that place where we're shifting and doing something new and doing it in a way of self-kindness and compassion instead of beating ourselves up. Because when we beat ourselves up, we're going to stay stuck where we are. So obviously you could hire a coach or personal trainer like me. Another way to get some accountability is if you have a friend to check in weekly, maybe who's on the same journey, or maybe a friend who's also a step ahead of you. Or joining some type of group or program. Maybe there's something local where people are working on similar goals. You can also have ways to have accountability just with yourself. And when I'm working with people, I'm sort of teaching them these tools. So eventually when they don't work with me, they're able to sort of have this check-in with themselves. How can I check in with myself weekly? How can I look at my habits that I'm working on? And how am I doing? What do I need to tweak? And there's different questions we can ask ourselves to sort of self-coach ourselves. But once you've received that coaching, it's easier to take some of those tools to continue on your own. So especially if you've been someone who's been stuck and you're struggling staying consistent and problems keep popping up, this lack of accountability might be the thing that you need. All right, so I'm going to read through these 5 mistakes real quick. Think where you are. Do any of these apply to you? Maybe more than one. So focusing on an extreme diet or unsustainable method. Ignoring emotional eating, focusing on cardio and just burning calories versus focusing on increasing muscle mass and getting lots of movement in. Mistake number 4, neglecting sleep and stress management. And 5, that lack of accountability. So remember, friends, that progress comes in small, consistent changes. It's not about perfection. It's not about this big loss. It's small, consistent changes that you can sustain. So I encourage you to focus on every step forward that you're making is progress, and focus on what you're building, this lifestyle that you're building, not how fast you're doing it, because that's where the true results come. And friends, just a quick reminder, if you feel like you could use some extra support or accountability, don't forget to grab 25% off your first 3 months of my personal training app. There will be a link down below. Just use the code NEWYEAR25. And this deal is for new clients only, and it ends January 17th. And you're going to get customized workouts, unlimited messaging with me, habit tracking, and even a bonus free coaching call towards the end of the month. So check that out and let's kickstart your healthiest year yet. And also, if you guys are someone who's been listening for a while, I am going to be switching to just one podcast a week, and those will be dropping on Monday.